How's it going there, you, I was going to call you pansies, but I didn't think that would be a good one. But anyway, how's it going, everyone? Nick Daniels here yet again, bringing you folks another video. Today we're going to be talking about something that actually I read on LinkedIn the other day that someone I have a connection with there that I don't actually know, of course, because that's how social media works. He posted a question, and I thought it was really good because I read it and instantly was intrigued. And he's like, what things do you think are most vital to have a happy workplace, right? Like to have an employee be happy in a workplace. Now, of course, naturally reading this, and I've worked some really fucking shit jobs for about 10 years, I can really say that jumped right off the board for me. Like that was something that I wanted to answer. And I put I think I put like 3 good points, but I want to elaborate on that real quick on my lovely drive home. So first and foremost, if anything, okay, is involvement, right? So, for example, said employee should feel involved, right, in said company. I think that goes without saying. If you work in a company, right, and they like switch up the system that they're doing, right, whatever it is, right, the way they do something has now changed, okay, in some minor thing. It could literally just be the way you punch into your shift or not, but nobody tells you. That is not being involved in the company. They're not involving you. That's what you get a feeling of. You're like, wow, nobody's gonna tell me that, and it doesn't feel that great, right? Also knowing that there's some recognition available, I think that is one of the biggest ones in my opinion, is recognition. Like absolutely, hands down. If an employee does something, okay, and they never hear anything, what you're gonna hear is this stupid saying that somebody came up with, and it makes sense, it's just, I don't like it, that no news is good news. So they're trying to tell you, if you don't hear from your manager, if your manager doesn't say anything to you, like they don't come up to you and say something negative, for example, right? They just walk by you, hey, how's it going? And that's it. That's supposed to be good because it means you didn't screw up. Now, I'm a firm believer that that's wrong, because your manager should walk by you and say you did something right. You did something good. Good job last night. You know what that makes the employee feel? Fucking fantastic. Dude, I don't know how many times I ever got thanked on a job for doing something, and it's very minimal, right? But when it happened, I felt kind of good. It could have been the worst job in the world, but when I was thanked for doing something, and I mean, half the time I just thought this was the proper thing to do, but apparently it just looked so good that they wanted to come up and approach me and thank me, right, for doing a good job, which usually comes from the top down. In that sense, the manager got congratulated by somebody else, so then he passed it along. But that also comes around in the reverse, that if he gets shit on, he'll come shit on that person. It go like shit rolls downhill, you'll hear. That's where that comes from. So those two, absolutely. I think, I don't know how to word this properly, but basically the opposite of a hostile work environment. If you come into work, and I've been in that situation where it is a hostile work environment, you will not want to be there any longer than you have to. That is a promise. Because I have been in 2 jobs where I definitely feared coming in to work because something like that would take over, right? And every time that I was telling somebody that it was gonna happen, it did. And every single time I'm sitting at work and I'm shaking because I literally just got screamed at, or, you know, told I'm mentally fucking retarded, word for word, and that's not something an employee should have to walk into, right? So like a good workplace, wellness in the workplace, people getting along, right? It all adds up, like good communication, right? Like, you know, you want to go to a workplace where like you feel needed, where your voice is heard and listened to, Like, it's one thing just to hear you and not do anything about it, but it's like, hey, I got an idea, and you say this, and you're like, the boss is like, that's a really good idea. Let's see how we can implement this. That's a company you should want to be in, right? Because again, there are companies that you'll be like, hey, I don't agree with this, and you know what they're gonna say? Who cares, right? And you can, you know, you can argue, oh, they're not flexible enough. Well, okay, that's great. Like, well, you know, companies, they try their best, right? That's not flexibility. I can't see being a huge thing in the workplace, as in like that's going to make the best workplace ever, is I'm just being flexible around your schedule. I mean, most companies should be able to do that. If they're not, you can easily just go get another one. But all these other ones, I find, like, these are like, man, if you have those, you should be like sticking with it. I would totally take a very like well-organized company that cares about its employees well over a company that, you know, didn't have flexibility, but had way more than that. You know, I don't know. Flexibility is not that big of a term. Like, if they weren't that flexible, I could just flex my schedule around a little bit, I'm sure, and come up with something. But I don't know. Like I said, you need to have respect, not only for, again, the company and the chain of command and the employees, but vice versa. They need to respect you as a person and as an individual. And I guess that would also, again, come in with the flexibility, because if you have, say, a child, they would need to be flexible around that, and they should be able to respect that. Again, some companies can't offer that flexibility as much, but it's hard to say. All in all, I think those were some good points I threw out there. It's pretty good for like a 6-minute video. I totally could have made this like 20 minutes, in all honesty, because there's really just so much I can say on the topic, or on the matter, I mean. But like I said, overall, that's kind of the idea, is if you get a good workplace environment, that you actually kind of feel like welcomed, and basically at the end of the day, that I've heard this saying before too, is if you can show up to work and actually like want to be there, that's kind of what you're looking for. I have not had a job, well, I've only had one job in my life that I actually wanted to be there, right? And that was a job that I only had technically for 5 weeks. And it was through going to school, and it was I wasn't even being paid at the time, and I wanted to be there because that was a job that I actually came into an environment, and actually I worked at a whole different pace. Like, I was actually told to slow down with my classmate, which I thought was hilarious, and I'll quote that to this day. But not only that, but just being in an environment that I could, again, I had everything. Like, I felt respected. I felt like my voice was heard. I felt like I was needed. I was thanked when I did things. I was told, like, you're doing a real good job. Like, you're going way too fast. Like, slow down. And it was very relaxed. Everybody got along. It was a really good environment. It was very cohesive. And that's an environment that I encourage you all, if you can get into, to get in and secure it and stay there. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video there, folks. I'm going in to play some Guild Wars 2. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to see you in the next video. Peace.